thing, always check the audio software. It always happens where I forget to press play. And all right, so we're live. So welcome back, everyone. My name is Mr. T. Welcome back to Convos, our podcast over here at TimTalks. And hey, welcome back to another episode. We're live over here in NYC as well as live over there in Saipan. The reason why is because I brought someone new, once again a new guest who is gonna explain something, not I wouldn't say serious, but more so like something that only like a few could relate to. And just because the podcast today is going to center on teen pregnancy. All right. So if you're sensitive about the topic, don't worry. We're not going to be, too explicit with it. It's just going to be something, just a little chill, judging from the comment. And, if you know someone who's going through this, someone who's going through the process, who is ever pregnant, whether they be a teenager or someone who's just like a young adult, maybe share this to them. Maybe they can get some inspiration. And the reason why is because I brought someone over who can also tell her story, who was once a young parent, who is now an older parent, and who can give you the gist of how it is she went about her life and how it is that she came to be successful and how she got to be where she's now, right? So, I'd like for you guys to meet Charlotte. You want to give your introduction?
Hi everyone, thank you Tim for having me here today. So I was born and raised in the island of Saipan. I am currently a mother of three and I do have one on the way. I'm 8 months pregnant and I am currently in my last semester of school and I graduate in May, which is just next month. I am majoring in education with a concentration in rehabilitation and human services. So I work full time. I'm a full time student, and I work at the Substance Abuse, Addiction, and Rehabilitation Program.
Nice. So, just to also, guys, give you a little bit of background of how I came about to meet her. So, actually, she was a colleague of mine at NMC. If you guys don't know, that is the Northern Marianas College. That is the local college over there in Saipan. And she was also taking courses with me. We interacted, we did all those courses together, and then all those activities. And most of the time, we also collaborated on other projects and all that stuff. And while I was outbound for NYC, she was still continuing to do some courses over there until now she told me she's going to get her degree coming May. So, kudos to her. And as you can probably tell, right? So she has a family of three going into four, and despite how young she is, she's achieved so much with raising a family, with a loving husband. She is also pursuing education, which we already know that's not for everybody, right? Education, pursuing that, it's not for everybody, and she decided to go for that. And also, she's helping those who are dealing with drugs, alcohol abuse, and all those forms of just those things that you encounter in life that, again, I'm not gonna question addiction or whatever, but really just to help someone who copes with that. Really, that's what she does, and she's doing it well, and she's made a lot in her life. So, like I said, she'll be there to give the guidance. And whoever left the comment here that I'm gonna say, again, you got someone who is well experienced and who is all around just someone who can you can rely on, right? So let me just go ahead and read off this comment. And thank you, Charlotte, for the introductions, and thank you also for being here.
Of course, thank you for having me.
It really is awesome. So I'm gonna just read this over here. So just to be clear, I know you're a guy, Mr. T. So so sorry to tell you, but I'm actually pregnant. I'm due in 4 months, but I'm scared. The thing is also I'm a teenager. My boyfriend's nice to me, but we didn't know what the heck we were doing. We don't know what to do. I'm so scared. Please, I need your guidance. Right now, I'm saying that lightheartedly, but it's also, when it comes down to the serious topic, you don't want to add seriousness on top of the seriousness already, right? So, and I know for this person's gonna probably go through a lot of things, and hopefully with your boyfriend, I'm assuming from the topic, the comment, he's faithful, and I feel like he's gonna be with him every step of the way. But I want to turn things over to Charlotte. So, how was it like for you, with your first child?
Um, so with my first child, um, it was we planned to have my first child, so therefore with my partner at the time, we did make some preparations. But even though we did, it was also hard because financially we weren't really stable. I ended up not. I couldn't work for a whole year, but my partner at the time was working. Um, and by that time, we lived in Saipan because we were living in Boise, Idaho prior. We moved over to Saipan, and that's when I, got pregnant with my first child. It was a complicated delivery. Um, the situation I was in resulted in a C-section. So of course, even if you plan the pregnancy, you never know what happens thereafter that you didn't plan. Yeah, and so it was hard. Saipan, moving back to Saipan, you're kind of limited to resources, and but we made it work. We had to make it work somehow, and I would just like to say that always find your support. Find that person you can that will support you in your motherhood, in your experience of being a mother. If it's it can be of course your partner, but if you can't, if you feel like your partner's not something who you can really rely on, maybe look into a friend or a mother or someone in the family that can also guide you, because being a young parent, you need that guidance.
That
You
is
know?
true. And
Yes.
I love how you said as well, you had to make it work, just because you were determined as well, to have the child, right? You made the decision, you and your partner, and you're determined that you see it through and that you have your first baby. And I totally get that. And in terms
Yeah.
of like guidance, right? And whoever left the comment, just know that there are always gonna be programs that will be assistive, when it comes down to being a mother, and even more so, even also being a father, right? New parents, there always gonna be some support, especially
Mm.
if you're determined to have your child. And I feel that just because of the fact that, even what I mostly feel is that they're just so overwhelmed. Was it overwhelming for you when you were thinking about your first child?
Yeah, it was. Even though I had one child, it took so much energy and my time. And when you have a child, you don't know what's gonna happen. You have to prepare yourself for the worst situations.
Yeah.
I remember always going to the ER, taking my child to the ER for minor reasons. Because I'm still learning as a parent. Like, hey, what is this? What's going on?
Of course.
And so yeah, and so even though you try to be prepared, you will not always, like, you won't always be prepared. You're going to be caught off guard with certain situations, because having a kid is, it's random things will come, like circumstances will arise and situations will arise, and you would have to face that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and it is true as well. Um, it it's always about like planning and preparation. We learned that in teaching, right? We learned that planning and preparation is key. Even with something as this, right? Even when you're having a child, and life is being made, right? And and I always agree with you when it comes down to anticipating the worst. Not saying it's gonna happen, but just that mental preparation, because there's just a lot that's gonna happen once that 9 months hits, right? Once
Yeah.
once you reach that point. And speaking of months, someone left this person who left here in the comment. She said here that I'm due in 4 months now. Whoever left the comment, I apologize as well if I had gotten to you a little bit later than usual. But knowing this person, she's probably still in her fourth or fifth month, so it's like the second trimester. How is it like for you when it was like 4 or 5 months into the pregnancy?
So for me, the second trimester is probably the easiest to go through because the first trimester you're going through the sickness, you're going through all the symptoms, and once you get to the second trimester, you get your appetite back, you feel more energetic, you're more productive. But prepare yourself for the third trimester because you will feel the weight,
Yes.
you will feel other symptoms like swollen feet, swollen hands, the weight, the Braxton Hicks, which are contractions.
Uh-huh.
Not real
Oh.
contractions, but the pretty much your body is preparing for the birth, and so sleeping will become hard for you.
That's true. I've
Yeah,
heard.
so those are things you need to also prepare. So I'm in my third trimester, and right now, sleeping is really hard because they recommend that you sleep on your side, preferably on your left side, so that the oxygen can still
Can still
flow
go
through your
through. I see.
body and also for the baby.
Uh,
But sometimes sleeping in one position for so long can give you a backache, stiff neck, so
yes.
get comfortable, get pillows, get support. Yeah.
Uh-huh. That's true. And I also know as well that there's not enough leg room, like literally when it comes down to turning, and you can't lay down on your stomach. You already know why, right? You've experienced that.
Yeah.
And sorry, I almost had a brain fart here. So I agree as well that I've heard, with the second trimester, it's probably the easiest, just because your body is still manageable, to the point where
Mm-hmm.
you also get relief of some of the symptoms, at least for the most part. But if I may ask you, I know that you know this was not your first rodeo. You already have three children. Does
Yes.
pregnancy, get easier with successive children?
So, okay, so every pregnancy is different.
Mm-hmm.
Every pregnancy, at least with my pregnancy, they were all different.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say my fourth pregnancy right now is um, a struggle than the
Okay.
previous three that I have, because I get bigger. I get bigger every time.
Uh-huh.
And so what I'm going through right now is rapid weight gain.
Oh, I see.
And yeah, so I'm heavier. And so, like, walking is really hard. I'm very limited. I'm
Mm-hmm.
also I'm on the verge of like asking my partner to drive me to work because I'm not really able to drive, or I can drive, but I'm not.
But
But with
it's
my
like,
back, yeah, I have back issues. I'm starting to have back issues, so he's gonna have to help me get to work and back until the time comes, and then I can take my maternity leave. But every pregnancy is different. It doesn't matter how you plan it, how you deal with your pregnancy. There's always gonna be that one thing that will catch you off guard that you weren't prepared for. So
mm,
yes, but the best thing you can do is just to keep yourself healthy, like eating healthy, doing stretches, yoga. They really help for flexibility.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I would suggest that you do that, and also lay off on the sweets because you don't want to be diabetic in pregnancy.
Yes, I see.
Um, yeah, if you are diabetic in pregnancy, there's a chance like that being diabetic will stay with you even after you give birth, or it'll go away after you give birth.
Mm.
So
That's true. I see. So, I noticed here as well, right? That really shows you how, unique every child, he or she is, really. And I have heard as well. I just wanted, confirmation from the actual parent, how with every child there's always gonna be something new, something unique that only is
Yeah.
like for this child, and that's how you remember, this is when I had you, this is how I had you, and then all that stuff. And
Yeah.
as a guy, like I said, I'm not ever gonna go through that. I'm just a person who's just the 50-50. Like, I'm just the person who gives the other half of what's needed for the baby. So and just because hearing all this, and just to that person, whoever left the comment, right? I feel as though always with the first pregnancy, it's always gonna be something new, right? It's always
Yes.
gonna be something that sounds a little bit worrisome, right? And
Mhm.
then right, the person who left this year is a teenager. But honestly, if I may ask you personally, do you know anyone, like anyone, you don't have to disclose names, who was also pregnant but were a little bit younger than you? Do you know anyone?
Oh yes. I know a few actually. One of my niece who got pregnant when she was still in high school.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Thankfully she graduated still, but
Nice.
yes, she got pregnant, uh, and right now she's going through. She's a new mother.
Mm-hmm.
Her baby just turned 1, but um, luckily she gave birth after graduation. But the way that I see her life right now is she is thinking of going to school right now. She's like working at a job she hates.
Oh, I
Um,
see.
and so because of that, um, she's thinking of going to school because now she's thinking of providing, having a better future for her daughter,
Uh-huh.
having a better job, right? And in order to have that, you gotta go to school. And
Mm-hmm.
so she is starting to get her priorities in order.
Mm-hmm.
And she's a young mom, but she's learning,
Oh, that's
and
good.
she's doing great so far.
Uh-huh.
What's great that she's lucky too that she also has the support of her boyfriend and her mom.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. She does have guidance,
Oh, that's
but
good.
she definitely sees the struggle in raising just one kid.
Mm-hmm. Welcome to
It's
motherhood.
hard.
Welcome
Yes.
to motherhood.
And I just wanted to add also, with every pregnancy, sometimes you can have a natural birth, and maybe the next won't be a natural birth. Maybe it'll be a cesarean.
I see.
You know, yeah. And so sometimes you can have complications in each pregnancy, and it also goes with age. I
Uh-huh.
think the reason why that I'm having a harder time now is because I'm older.
I see. I
Whereas,
see.
yeah, so with my first three, I had them still in my 20s.
Mm-hmm.
But now that I'm in my 30s, you know,
Yeah.
it's getting, yeah.
Y-
And the older you get, of course, you're at risk for other health conditions,
yes, I
So
see.
just to keep that in mind also.
Mm-hmm. And again, whoever left the comment, it's not to scare you. It's literally how everyone goes through different challenges. Every mother goes through something different. And if I may ask about your niece, how was her attitude, prior to being pregnant? How was she, if I may ask?
So she was okay. So her story is she has a strict mom.
I see.
And yes, doesn't always go out. So a part of her felt like she needed to be free. And yeah, so one of those,
Mm.
um, got with her boyfriend, and was, I guess they were in their honeymoon stage, and one thing led to another, and then they got pregnant.
I
You
see.
know, and that's just life. Okay, that's what happens in real life.
It does.
Um, but now that she's a mother, her perspective on life shifted.
Mm.
And now she is not that naive little girl that she was prior.
Oh.
Now she's a mom, and she's trying to make a better life for her little family. And that's what being a mother does to you, is like you're scared when you're pregnant, but once you hold that baby, once you hold your baby, it's like the best feeling in the world. The only thing that you feel and think about is, I'm going to protect this baby, provide a great life for this baby, and I will do all that I can. And so you will have that moment, to that person who commented, you will have that moment when you deliver your baby. And when you do come across that, embrace it. Embrace it. Because then your life will make sense, you know?
That's true. Literally, guys,
Mm-hmm.
literally and figuratively embrace the child. I really do feel that, especially, and you know, for anyone out there, I don't know who might be tuning into the audience, right? You know, if you're a father, treat your wife like a queen, because literally, you're not going through that. She is, and if you can hear from Charlotte's description of all the things the mother goes through, you'd wish you gave offerings. You wish you did those kind of things because literally they go through a lot. And you know, and anyone out there who is a strict parent in the audience, just know that how they came about that, right? Your parenting, the less that you give a child freedom, the more that they're gonna want it, right? That's usually the gist. And
Mm-hmm.
it is not just like oh, this applies to my family. No, other families have done it, and then that was what happened, right? And of course, you know, whatever transpired, you know, whatever happened, it is what it is. And you know, I agree with you that being a parent literally will change you, especially if you're the mother of this new child. And um you know, just the thought that, you know, as a guy, I will never understand completely always what the process is of going through it. But for the mother to know that, you know, you made life, right? And that's something, you know, completely, and can only be done through a woman. That can only be done
Mm-hmm.
through a woman who is capable and even willing to have a child, right? And
Yes.
um really, I don't want to say empathize, but really I sympathize with any parent, young and old, that there really is a lot to go on. There really is a lot, not only in the present but also for the future, right? With your child. And you know, what do you feel is like the best advice you could give to this person? Because she said here, um she's speaking for herself and her boyfriend. They didn't know what they were doing.
Yes.
They don't know what to do. They feel scared. But what do you feel you can give them that can really be reassuring?
Oh, yes, I have. So, you know, first of all, I like to say, be prepared for sleepless nights. Okay, you have to anticipate the things that you probably don't want to deal with, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's really important that you plan with your partner. Um, you know, when can your partner help you? Like, if when can you rest, and when can your partner be the one to handle the baby while you rest, and then, you know, take turns. Like, because sometimes, if your baby is a colic baby, they cry every 2 hours, and if you're lucky, they'll sleep through the night. But that is something that you really should address first, because lack of sleep can cause or can lead to postpartum depression. And
Mm.
you don't want that. You want to avoid that. You need your rest and you need support. So that's first and foremost, right?
Mm-hmm.
Have a plan and always advocate for yourself. Don't ever settle for less or be complacent in life, because now that you have a baby in your life, it's not just about you. Now it's about you and your baby and your family, right? So don't just allow yourself to be a housewife. Well, maybe for now, until you figure out what your priorities are, right? But always try to go beyond that, right? Have a future and organize your time wisely. Dedicate one day for self care. That's very important.
Mm-hmm.
Again, if you have a support system, you will be able to have that self care. And time management. Set a time to do house chores. Another day to do errands. Dedicate one day of the week for planning your future by setting goals that you want to reach and work towards those goals.
Mm-hmm.
Um, don't make every day repetitive.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, make it count.
Mm-hmm.
Pursue something and challenge yourself. Power through the struggles, but never take your eyes off the prize, right? So,
Mm.
whatever the prize may be for you at the end, just believe that it's there waiting for you. And always believe in yourself and never care about what others think, feel, or say about you, because you are in control of your own success.
Uh-huh.
Remember that going through struggles and hardships is just another way to forge you into the person you are destined to be. So just believe in yourself, be limitless, be fearless, and just go through whatever life may throw at you. Never give up. And always find that time for your, like I said, I'm reiterate this a lot. Find
Mm.
time for yourself. It's very important. And find a support system.
For real, honestly, and I love that. Especially, I'm gonna try and find in the recording that quote. But like you said, right? There will be challenges that come your way. It's literally a baby, right? A baby needs time to be able to think for itself, mold itself, choose how it's gonna grow, how soon it will grow, and all those things, right? Baby's gonna have that, right? But really, it's more so about, right, what can you do to keep the train going? Like, what can you do to really, ensure the success of your child, to ensure the success of your family, right? And just to mold the family into something that later on you're gonna enjoy, whatever rewards, whatever activities come your way, right?
Yeah.
And it really, when you really think about it, I want to ask you now, with your family, right? I'm not quite so sure the ages of your three respective children now, but how is it
Mm-hmm.
now that they're already at that age, like in elementary school and or towards middle school? How is it now with them?
Okay. So once you become a parent, you will always worry for your kid, for your children, right? So you feel like even so, like I tend to think that when they get older, oh, it's gonna get easier. They're more independent, but actually you worry more because when they're babies, you worry if they're breathing through the night, right? You
Mm.
give yourself paranoid and you make sure that, or when they start crawling, you gotta make sure that there's no small objects on the floor for them to eat and choke on, right?
Yeah.
So every milestone, every age that they endure, there's always something new to worry about. And so right now that my kids are in school, like my 9-year old, I fear that what if he gets bullied in school,
Mm.
or you know, does he make friends, or is he, does he get does he feel sad when people tease him? Like I worry more about their feelings
Mm-hmm.
because now they are cognitive enough um to know that emotions can cause like some kind of um behavior, right?
Correct.
And so every day I ask my kids how was school, and I ask specific questions so I know how they interact with others, how they're like socially. Um, Also, I worry when they play outside, and I'm not around. Like
Yeah.
if their dad is watching them, sometimes when you leave kids with their dad, anything goes, right?
Yeah,
They
it
can
does.
eat junk food for days or
For real.
like that. So I worry when they get hurt. There's just still so many things to worry about as they get older, and I feel like I anticipate when my oldest son maybe becomes a teenager, I'm gonna have to worry about who he hangs out with and um what influence he's being around,
Mm-hmm.
and like the worry just never stops. And the best what I do, because I am a person of faith, is I pray, because if it's beyond my control, I can only rely on God to take over, right? Take
Mm.
over and watch my kids for me, and it helps. It helps that I can trust in God that He is keeping my kids safe and that takes so much worry off my shoulders. Um, and also, you know, it's sometimes you just gotta teach your it's all about education too. You gotta teach your kids, like, always communicate with them. If you think that they're too young to have an adult conversation, guess what? They're not. You know, because with what we're going through in the world right now, it's always good to educate them about bullying, educate them about even a sensitive topic like sexual harassment, right? Like, you gotta, and I have these conversations with my kids. I want to know that they're being safe and that they're aware that, hey, they know about stranger danger, they
Mm,
know about, you know, giving respect, and just all these things that they're gonna end up going through in life on their own is what I'm preparing them for, and I educate them on that.
mm.
So yeah, it's tough,
Yeah,
but
it
you love them
really.
so much that you will go above and beyond, even though it stresses you out. Yeah.
That's true. And I love as well how you're emphasizing specifically on mental health just because of the fact that, it's real. It's real. It's happening now, and it's a real thing. And to
Yes.
just know that, right, as the child gets older, right, it's not so much just about the physical health that you're looking out towards, right, because the baby is still young and they're still trying to comprehend the world around them. And
Mm-hmm.
so now that they're older, right, it's more so about, hey, they can stand on their own, but can they think? Are they
Yes.
capable of that, right? And so I get that. Being a parent, being a mother or even a father, it's always going to be that lifelong continuous quote unquote stress. But
Yes.
I want to think of it more as like kind of like not always distress, right? But
Mhm.
also
Yeah.
there are times of like you stress, the good stress. For example, like,
Yeah.
oh, my child is gonna be the MC of this gathering, or oh, my child's gonna receive a reward, or oh, my child is
Yeah.
going to be an A honor roll. Oh, he's going to represent us in the spelling bee. All that stuff,
Mhm.
right? And
Yes.
there's always gonna be those moments that always shows you that being a parent is not just worthwhile but meaningful, right?
Yes. They
um
bring so much joy. Of
mm,
course, they are worth the stress. They will give. They will catch you by surprise every time
mm,
as
eh,
they grow. Yeah.
that is
So
so
much blessing and joy. Yes.
That is so true. And also I'm very happy as well that, with your family, now they are, out there in the world, and now they are also making their own lives, in school, but also you get to see their interests, their hobbies. You get to see them be their own persons. And
Yeah.
to have seen them, and again, you're still young, right? Going into 30s, it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, it seems like it's a struggle, but that's only toward our physical body, right? But our mental state, it's like, oh, I've been through this before. There's gonna
Yes.
be certain things that are the same. Oh, we gotta get this. Oh, so first trimester's done, second trimester's coming. I get to chill. I get to do
Yeah.
those kind of things. But then, really, above all, although we're physically getting older, right, our mental preparedness is still sharp as ever, right? So
Yes.
there's always that, and that's key. To whoever left this comment, I think we can just sum up from what we talked about, right? The first off, right, just be clear, I know you're a guy, Mr. T. Hey, yeah, I'm a guy, right? But I'm also a concerned person, right? So
Yes.
just know that, right? And, even though she said here, so sorry to tell you I'm actually pregnant, first things first, don't be ashamed of that. Because literally, I can also think of other people who's been through the same experience, right? Whether they be 22 or whether they be as young as 17 or 18. I've seen so much to know that this ain't the first rodeo, right? Um,
Yeah.
and it's happened. So, if you're doing 4 months, again, like Charlotte said, with the second trimester, you got a good thing going. You are now at that stage where you can say, oh, um, my child is able to sustain himself or herself in my body, right? My weird body that I'm always used to eating hot Cheetos or ice cream with, and now you're actually taking something for your child. So whoever left the comment, again, if you're in the second trimester, just know that you're halfway there, and
Yeah.
keep it going, because not to say that there are struggles to come, but there will be more opportunities to see what's going on with your child, right? The first one
Mhm.
is always going to be the newest. It may always be the hardest, because it's not because it's going to be physically hard, but it's also like you don't know, right? um so let's just be real. It really is gonna happen like that, and if you're scared, we totally get it. Like Charlotte and I know, from what I've seen with other teen parents, for what she's seen as being a parent, right? It's gonna look scary, right? It's gonna feel scary. And we think scary thoughts and all those things, right? And the thing is, I think, to this person who realized that she's a teenager, to know that there's a chance, right? Because if they can come to the realization that, oh, I'm a teenager and I'm already having a child, rather than say, oh, brush it off, right? Um,
Mhm.
I'm not catching the vibe with this person who left the comment. I think this person is very serious now about being a mother. Do you feel that? Just the way it sounds.
Yeah.
Right. So, and
Mhm.
the boyfriend's nice to you. Be happy for that. Because of the fact that a child needs his mother and father always.
Yeah.
And those kind of things. And even though you guys don't know what you're doing, you don't know what to do, again, like Charlotte said, find your resources. Find those people, those resources, that time to dedicate to the child, right? That support system that she kept emphasizing. And it's true. You got to build that, right? And there's always going to be something. And I know there's a program called WIC. It's for women, infants, and children. There's that there. Food stamps.
Yes.
There's always going to be support. And we're living at a time where we're opportunistic. There's always going to be something out there for people to have, right? it,
Yes.
it's just a matter of being resourceful. And
Mhm.
being a parent, it's all about that, right?
Yeah.
um and you get to see everything from the moment that they are born to the moment you see them graduate with their degree. And
Mhm.
that's, imagine the years that follow is gonna be something so surreal. So, you know to whoever left the comment, right, whether you be the person I'm talking to directly who's the teenage parent, or whether you're an up and coming parent, right? Just know, don't be afraid. And have a support system. Have faith to know that you're gonna make it out of it, right? And is there anything you want to jump in on, or anything?
Um. Well, to the person that left the comment, you'll be fine. Don't. Once you first hold your baby, it'll all make sense. You'll know what to do, and you know what to look for, right? Something in you will change instantly because of that instant love at first sight that you will experience soon. And it's normal to feel scared. I was scared too, but don't let that overtake you.
Yeah.
Like I said, always advocate for yourself, for your family, and ask questions. Seek help if you need it. Don't feel like you're alone.
For real.
You got this.
Oh yeah, you got this. Whoever left the comment, and anyone out there who is going through the same situation or something similar. Again, everyone's situation is different, but just know that that's part of life. That's how we're here. That's why our population is now 8 billion. I think we reached that in like March or February. I'm not sure when, but hey, we grew to that point, and it's awesome. And um, you know, you're gonna be one of the parents who is going to be a part of that, right? You get to contribute to something bigger, right? Life.
Yeah.
Life is so big, and it's something that's so fun to enjoy. And in this world now, despite all the whatever that's going on, right? Hey, that's on the bigger level, but stick with what's in the now, right? You and your child, that's all that matters at that moment, in that time, right? And just love them, care for them, and hold the family together despite all trials and tribulations. Like I said, we may be young, but we're pretty smart gen, no matter what anyone
Yeah.
says. Like,
Yes.
some people, if you think, for example, that being put down by an older gen or something like that, just know that our gen is pretty smart. Our gen is pretty
Yes.
smart, and the fact that there are more resources, more time, more knowledge, we
Yeah.
got that, right? And um, we say that simply, but that's why I also brought someone who has experienced that, to know that if my words may be one part, her words may complete the picture, right? And it really is from a podcaster and a parent, right, to know that you'll be fine, right?
Yes.
So is there any other bits and pieces of advice or anything else you want to say before we sign off for this episode?
For any young parent to be out there, just know that like focus on your mental health as well. Okay. Don't put yourself in a position that might lead you to a place where you don't want to be, right? Like postpartum depression. And you have the time now, if you're in pregnant, you have the time now to do all the research you need to do and just prepare. And it's normal to feel scared, but also don't give up. You know,
Mm.
there's always help out there.
So real. And really, it boils down to all of that. Keep a level head, keep a cool head. You know, child doesn't need to have stress. You don't need to have stress, right? It's at that moment, appreciate every moment that you undergo throughout the trimesters, throughout life in general, throughout the years to come, and know that there's always gonna be help, resources, people along the way who's got your back, right? Including us. So we're rooting for you, which is why as well, if you have any DMs or links you want to share, in case someone comments and I'm not the best person to answer that, I can relay that to you, so that you can help out these up and coming parents, right? We'll change the world one step at a time, and that's what I feel matters most.
Yes, yes, I
And
agree.
right, so guys, like I said, I'm gonna DM. I'm not DM. I'm gonna put in the description, um, the accounts of Charlotte as well. Just if you have any questions for her, or if you're still shy, you can relay them to me directly in the comments, or DM me, PM me. I'm gonna relay them to her. She'll get back to me. I'll get back to you, right? And
Yeah.
and if that's the case, don't be anonymous, because usually the people leave the comments anonymously. I can't find you if you're anonymous, right? So just know that, right? So I'll find a way to for me so that I can contact you guys, right? But that's gonna be it for this episode of Convos. Thank you so much, Charlotte, for being on. I know
Thank
that
you.
it's 11:40 p.m. over there. I know mother needs a rest. But thank you for being on.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, means a lot. And hey, guys, just know that as well. This is her first time being on a podcast, and I think she did excellently in terms of, being on, staying on, tolerating me for a bit, right? And just know that her next child is coming up very soon. So hope for the best, pray for the best if you have the faith. And just believe, and just hope for the best for her, right? And we
Thank you.
we hope for the best for whoever left the comment, whoever is an up
Yeah.
and coming parent. You got this, right? So that's gonna be it for this episode. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Please go ahead and comment, DM me, PM me if anything, or comment, PM or DM Charlotte if you guys got any questions. Like I said, she's more than qualified to answer your questions. All right. And that's gonna be it. So please like, share, sub, and much love. This is Mr. T, and this is Charlotte signing off. And much love. We'll see y'all at the next episode. Have an awesome morning, afternoon, or evening. Right, guys? So bye.
Bye.
Peace.